His touch reached my thighs before I could form a word. By then, my body had already betrayed my better judgment. Victor, my husband of nearly 3 decades, was just a couple of trailers away, knocked out from too much liquor and too little self-awareness. But I was still wide awake, nerves coiled tight, torn between fear and a hunger I hadn't felt in years. Aaron moved slowly, confidently, sliding my underwear down as if he had all the time in the world. The air outside was bitter, but my skin burned hotter than I could bear. The trailer creaked beneath us while the Alaskan wind howled like it was in on the secret. I grabbed at the pillow beneath my head as he moved inside me. No words, no lies, no promises. Just raw, silent heat that never should have happened. I wanted to blame the cold. But in truth, this began long before we ever crossed state lines. Because once you feel warmth like that, winter stops being about the weather. Before I continue, let me say thank you to every person who subscribed, supported, or even just listened. You keep this channel alive. And if you're new here, or you've been watching but haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Hit that button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and share this with someone who values bold, unfiltered storytelling. Now back to that night. I'm Rosa. I'm 55. I've been married to Victor for 29 long years. He's a provider, a fixer, the kind of man who thinks silence solves everything. Over time, I became invisible. Not unloved, maybe, but unseen. Unwanted. We took this trip with 2 of Victor's college friends, Glenn, the loudmouth joker, and Aaron, the quiet one, the one with eyes that never gave anything away. We parked our trailers near a frozen lake, surrounded by snow, trees, and the kind of silence that strips everything bare. That first night, Victor drank too much. Glenn egged him on. They laughed, stumbled, passed out like college kids reliving their glory days. I tried coaxing Victor to come back to our trailer, but he waved me off, slurring that he'd join me later. He didn't. It was freezing inside our trailer. Victor forgot to refill the propane tank. I stood outside for nearly an hour, fingers numb inside my gloves, the sky above a bottomless black. I had no choice. I walked to Aaron's trailer, knocked softly, praying he was still awake. He opened the door, wearing only a thermal top and boxers, breath misting in the cold. "You look frozen," he murmured, stepping aside. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a blanket and pointed me toward the second bed. The trailer smelled like cedar, smoke, and something male. I lay under the blanket, tense, pretending to sleep. I could feel his eyes on me. The silence between us wasn't empty, it pulsed, alive. Outside, wind rattled the frame. Inside, I could hear the blood pounding in my ears. 10 minutes. Then 20. Then the bed shifted. He moved behind me slow. Careful. His hand touched my arm. I didn't stop him. I didn't say a word. His chest pressed gently against my back. His arms circled my waist. I inhaled, sharp and shaky. This wasn't heat from a heater. This was something older. Something buried. Aaron. I whispered, but the rest of the sentence never came. He didn't speak. Just buried his face in my neck, breath warm against my skin. His hands were rough. Certain, they moved beneath my shirt, across my stomach, up to my breasts. My body reacted instantly, betraying every layer of loyalty I once thought uncheckable. His touch wasn't hesitant. It was knowing. When he slipped my panties down, I didn't resist. I closed my eyes and let go. In that moment, I didn't think of Victor. I didn't think of the years, the vows, the white arch in Colorado. All I could feel were Aaron's fingers between my thighs, like he knew parts of me I'd long forgotten. His lips pressed to my skin, and then came the words, "I'll never forget. You deserve this," and that was the moment everything unraveled. I gave him years, loyalty, patience, everything. Victor poured his love into rifles, fishing lines, and his circle of old drinking buddies. He forgot me, forgot how to see me. The warmth between us faded until I was just a silhouette in our shared life. But then came that night. Aaron turned me toward him slowly, and the look in his eyes made something in me stir, not shame, not fear. Just a quiet hunger and a softness I hadn't felt in years. When he kissed me, I didn't resist. I kissed him back like someone who'd been touch-starved for decades. His hands searched me like I was lost treasure. When he slid into me, I didn't flinch. It wasn't pain I felt. It was the blinding realization I'd stepped across a line, and there was no turning back. I was alive, not frozen. Not numb. Alive. We moved without speaking, skin against skin, breath tangled, the trailer groaning. Around us. No vows, no excuses, just raw need in the dark. Then came a knock. Hard. Twice. I froze. Aaron pulled out, calm but alert. Snatching his shirt from the floor, he motioned for silence. I lay there, sweaty, bare, breath ragged, wrapped in a storm of adrenaline. Cracked the door open, murmurs, crunching footsteps in the snow. Then stillness. Glenn, he said as he shut the door. Looking for more booze? Did he? I asked, barely audible. Aaron shrugged. Maybe. He looked. Off. I pressed my palms to my face. This wasn't just betrayal, it was self-destruction. But God help me. I didn't regret it. Not yet. The trailer settled back into silence, but the ember inside me refused to die. I woke to birds slicing across the gray Alaskan sky. Aaron was still asleep, half covered in a tangle of sheets. My body ached in ways I hadn't felt in years, aching and electric. My underwear was still on the floor. I moved quietly, the light creeping through the blinds like truth leaking in. Every sensation lingered. His hands, his mouth, the heat of it all. But guilt doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. And that morning, it whispered my name like a curse. I got dressed. Aaron stirred, eyes steady. You good? I nodded. I couldn't speak. He walked to me, laid a hand on my cheek. No need to regret it. That was real. But the weight of it had already shifted. I stepped out into air sharp enough to cut skin. Everything around me felt too still, like the earth itself knew. Down by the lake, Victor crouched beside Glenn, laughing as they cobbled together a fishing pole with string and sticks. He saw me, waved. There you are. Glenn said you went to Aaron's. Hours was too cold. I forced a smile. Yeah, needed warmth. Victor kissed my forehead, gentle and oblivious, like I hadn't shattered everything beneath another man's hands. I laughed at Glenn's whiskey joke, but his eyes stayed on me too long. His smile didn't quite reach. He knew. Later, while we packed up camp, Aaron kept his distance. No eye contact. No words. Whatever burned between us was buried now, under silence and snow. Back home, Victor brewed tea and hummed beside me on the couch. Content, unaware, and I looked at him. Really looked, and I knew he was why I had gone numb, and I was the one who'd chosen to feel again. I won't pretend I'm proud, but I won't say I'm ashamed either, because for one night, I remembered who I was, not just Victor's wife, not just a caretaker, a woman. Marriage should keep you warm, but sometimes the one you marry forgets you're made of fire. Yes, I betrayed him, but long before that, he forgot to hold me. He forgot. I was still alive. Now, tell me, what would you have done? Can a single night really expose years of being unseen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Until next time.